In the present case, there has been obviously a large amount of media involvement. There's also been, however, a large amount of civil society organizations involved, victims' representations. The prosecution here have gathered substantial evidence, it must be said. So the case against the former president isn't totally relying on media material. I can put it that way.
Attorney, in your recent submission on the organization of the confirmation of charges hearing, you indicated that you will have 30 minutes for your opening statement, 3 to 4 hours to address legal issues, and then 30 minutes for your closing. Could you share how you are preparing for this, especially in terms of structuring legal arguments and emphasizing key defenses?
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to litigate the case here in a media interview. However, the prosecution and the victims today have published their anticipated schedule for the confirmation of charges hearing, and they're basically the same. They're both asking for 30 minutes opening and closing, 3 hours of submissions in the middle.
Do you know, Attorney Kaufman, if the confirmation of charges hearing will be streamed online for public and observers in the Philippines or globally?
100% yes, it will be available online, probably with a 30 minutes delay, because things can be said that shouldn't be said during a hearing in open session. The prosecution have announced that there will be a few instances where they'll need to go into private session, closed session, in order to protect victims or witnesses' interests. We might need the same as well, but the general rule is you try to minimize as much as possible private or closed sessions so that the public can be exposed to the hearing.
Attorney Kaufman, just to put things in proper perspective and also for the public to have a proper thought on the matter, could you clarify the distinction between the ICC's pre-trial phase and the trial phase?
So pre-trial phase is when you're building up to this big hearing, which is going to take place in September, according to the current schedule, the confirmation of charges hearing. This is when the prosecution get the first opportunity to present their case, and the defense get their first opportunity to challenge the prosecution evidence. Essentially, the prosecution have to convince the judges that there are substantial grounds to believe that the suspect, in this case the former president, committed the crimes which the prosecution alleges he committed. This is a higher standard, a higher evidentiary standard than the reasonable suspicion standard, which is sufficient to get someone arrested. But it's a lower standard than the standard which has to be proved at trial, which is beyond reasonable doubt. So it's a kind of somewhere in between standard. And the prosecution have to satisfy the judges that there are substantial grounds to believe that the former president committed the crimes that he's committed of. Once they pass that hurdle, if they pass that hurdle, then you get to the trial phase.